Welcome, 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 welcome. Listen, I speak nothing but blessings over your life. Catch it if you can. Listen, I'm happy to see you. Hope you happy to see me. Listen, first episode of Unspoken Truths with Javi. I am Javi, and I'm happy to be here. Listen, we have a guest with us tonight, Marcus Randall. Give him applause. Listen. So, wow. We're here finally. We're here, first episode of Unspoken Truths. And listen, I want to hear your unspoken truths. So listen, do me a favor, tell me a little bit about yourself.
First of all, I want to say I appreciate you thinking about me and letting me be the first guest on the show. That really means a lot to me coming from that touched me. You told me you wanted me to be the first guest, but I'm a normal guy, man. I work at ExxonMobil, Baton Rouge. I'm a mechanical planner. I've been there for about since 2015. I went back in 2015, but I've been there ever since. Just remarried, moved to Baton Rouge about 10 years ago, or going on 11 years ago, and got 4 beautiful kids, man. Most of them grown now.
Grown.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're doing their thing. 2 of them married. The 2 girls are married. Trying to get the other 2 boys to do what they need to do.
So listen, quick question. When people meet you now, what version do you normally, want them to see?
I want them to see the reformed me, the better me, man. I wasn't a hothead, I wasn't crazy or nothing like that, but I did some things that, and been through some things that I think I could have avoided, some things I couldn't avoid, but now they see the more mellow me because.
Oh, so you calm. You calm.
I'm me. I know my position now. I know who I am now. So.
So tell me, what does peace look like for Marcus Randall right now? What does peace look like for you?
As in what I'm doing or what?
Yeah,
I'm
just
peace?
your overall peace. What does it look like? How can you explain that to me?
Yeah, peace. It's like I said, peace is just knowing who I am now, man. Knowing what I am now, and getting closer to God, man, and knowing my position, knowing the order of things now.
So you are a minister, right?
Yeah.
How has that been for you?
That's been great. It's been great, man. That's one thing about ministry. It's what it is. It's helping people, giving people what they need. That's what ministry is.
So would you say that's a fulfillment?
Oh yeah, that's a fulfillment, man. When you help somebody, sometimes you don't think you're helping people, man. But when you actually help somebody, when they come to you and say, "Hey," I might not even know I said a certain thing, I did a certain thing. I'm just being me because I'm at that place now. And people come up to you and say, "Hey, man, I really enjoyed what you said here or what you did for me here." I mean, ministry is not just being in a pulpit and preaching and teaching the crowd. It's getting out them doors, man, and doing things for people. That's ministry, which is the will of God.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true ministry. But when you do things for people, man, it touches people. It really touches people. I don't even think about it sometimes. Sometimes people come, "Man, what you did for me, man, that really meant something." People tell me that I did things years ago and I don't even remember it. Hey, thank God for it.
That's the difference between doing it from your heart and not doing it for applause or for the crowd in the back. Wow, listen, that's amazing that you've reached that point in your life. So in every segment we have questions we have to ask, and some of these questions may be difficult, but I want to know. So there was a season in your life where you went through divorce, correct?
Yeah.
Explain how some of the ups and downs of that season in your life. Explain like some of the things you went through mentally.
Mentally, that was a really tough season because we come from family. We come from mom and dad. People think I'm crazy, but I had never seen my mom and dad have an argument. They might have had it behind closed doors, and when you cover what you see. So I was like, man, they did did it, I can do it. So I'm like, all right.
So it was the one to walk in the footsteps.
Yeah, because it looked like they walked in the footsteps of happiness. And I wanted that also, but when that didn't work out, man, that brought me on an emotional roller coaster. That messed with my self-esteem, that messed with my confidence, that messed with my just living. I mean, it's a depth that is unexplainable. So especially when you have kids together. We had 3 kids, and man, I remember one time, man. I don't want to tell people this, but I can tell it now. I mean, we had split up, and my oldest daughter, well, they all came to the house, and it was time for them to take them back to their mom. And my oldest daughter looked at them, and they didn't understand. And she said, Kimara, she said, Daddy, you don't want us no more? And I was like, you know,
Hard to explain.
yeah, how you explain that to a 7-year-old that they have to go back to their mom because we split up because me and their mom couldn't see eye to eye, and we split up, and your children think you don't want them anymore. You know, think about and I was thinking about the psychology, how it was messing with them. That's what hurt me more. But it felt like when your family is split up, I'm talking about a real man. I'm talking about a man that gets up and go to work and provides for his family and things like that. When that's taken away from you, man, that tears the depths of the soul.
So what do you think is misunderstood when it comes down to men in divorce? Because statistics shows that most women ask for a divorce before men. It's been proven that a man will stay in a tough situation before a woman. A woman is most likely to ask for a divorce than a man. So what do you think is misunderstood when it comes down to just men and divorce, period? Or do you feel like it's a misconception?
I think it is a misconception because, like you said, men will stay there. They'll fight it out. That's what we do. That's what we're supposed to do. There's certain roles that you have to play in a certain order. If you're a Christian, the world teaches a whole bunch of other stuff, and we sometimes we seem to gravitate towards that. But if you understand the order of things, and most men do, because that's a natural thing in them.
Natural instinct.
They hang in there. But, now you're living in a time that women, they can't get what they want. You don't act the way they think you should act. It's a problem. But you're saying the misconception about
just because. So, oftentimes, how should I put this? When a man is going through a divorce, most times they try to hide it, right? So, most men, they're not putting on Facebook saying, I'm having a party because I'm getting divorced, right? So it's pretty much, I want to keep it under the rug as long as I can until it comes out. So in that situation, even though a man and a woman may get a divorce, a woman is most likely to publicize it. Most men, they look at it as a failure.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So when I say misconception, it's almost looked at as if a man gets a divorce, he's not hurting. He's just ready to get back out on the market. He's not hurting, but that's what I'm asking. So in that sense, when you went through it, was it a slow process? Did it drag? Was it just pain all the time? You tend to hear men say, I got a divorce, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't go to work, I didn't want to shave, things of that sort because it hurt so much. But men tend to fight it privately. Women tend to fight it publicly.
Yeah.
You know, so that when I say misconception, it's almost saying like the world view it as a man thinks a certain type of way, but how extensive is that pain when you're going through that divorce, as far as even the process of thinking, I want to get back out there and try this again.
Yeah, man. Just recalling some times how I felt within the first 3 months when it happened. I was like, I give up on life. I quit working. I didn't work for 3 months. I sat in the house for 3 months. Didn't work. You know, I went to church and tried to do the social thing. I mean, it wasn't working out, man. Like I said, you feel like a failure. You feel like a failure, and you're trying to cope with it at home. I remember some nights, some days, I would watch the sun come up and watch it go down. I would be up 24 hours. Couldn't sleep. Some nights it felt like it affects your health. Felt like some nights I was like, man, I'm not gonna wake up in the morning because I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack.
Overwhelming of stress.
Yeah, I'm just stressed out. So I mean, you can't. I mean, I couldn't run and tell people that. You know, men just don't do that. We don't express our feelings like women do. You know, even if a woman ain't all right, they're gonna give you the perception like they are. Men don't do that. Well,
You hurt, you hurt.
Yeah, you hurt. We ain't got time, but we might climb up, you know, in a corner, climb up in our shell, and try to deal with it like that. But
So let me ask you, what was the hardest for you? Losing the relationship, rebuilding yourself, or learning to trust again?
all of them.
If you had to rate them in one order, would you say rebuilding a relationship or rebuilding yourself? Because the thing about it is before you was even able to think about loving somebody else, you had to learn how to re-love yourself.
Yeah. Now I had the rebuilding part may have been the toughest part because I had to work on myself first before I can offer myself to somebody else. That was the hardest thing because I had to get over. Oh, you a failure. You lost your whole family. You know, then that's voices in your head. We already know who that is. The enemy telling us that. And the self-esteem had to come back. The insecurity, you had to get over that. You know, I already knew. I'm a man. I knew I could go get another woman. You know, but I didn't know if the woman I get was ready for me. So that was pretty much the hardest part. I would say rebuilding. The losing the relationship at first, yeah, that struck you. It struck me. That strikes you at first because you're thinking, you know, the man is possessions. You know, if he has something, he has something. And you're thinking, whole time you're thinking, what I have has been stolen from me. So losing that relationship, that's the effect that it had on me. And I lost my relationship with my kids. You know, I wasn't around them 24/7, so I didn't know what was going on. So not just a relationship with my ex-wife, but a relationship with my kids was gone also. What was the other one?
The rebuilding yourself, learning to trust again.
Ooh, trust. It's still, I still can have nightmares. If that makes sense. Recollections. I'm not saying I have trust issues, but it does mess with you trusting another person because we're human.
So I got a question. So the Bible says, put your trust in no man.
Yeah.
So would you consider, I'm not trusting this person, but I'm trusting God. Trusting that the God that's in you can treat me right.
Well, you trust in His order. You trust in His plan. So He told Adam to go out and reproduce, populate the world. But you trust in that. And I talk about order a lot because once you follow that order, you're trusting who made the order. You know, if I put this table together and if I get instructions, I'm gonna look at those instructions and put that table together. I shouldn't have a screw missing. I shouldn't have anything missing. That table should be to do exactly what it's supposed to do. It came from the manufacturer like that. They sent me the directions. So if I follow those directions, I'll be okay.
Manuscript.
So, yeah, so I'm trusting who sent
I
the
got you.
instructions, not necessarily putting my trust into another human being.
Listen, this is good. I have to go on commercial break. We'll be right back. See you soon. Welcome back to Unspoken Truths with Javi. We have a guest, Marcus Randall. Y'all give him a hand. Listen, we back on topic. Listen, healing after divorce, healing after a breakup. Y'all know what we were discussing. So before we left, we were just pretty much talking about the pain of it all, right? So as a human, not even humans, animals, everything that exists have a coping mechanism, right? So even after the divorce, you know, even after the pain and everything you went through, what would you consider was your coping mechanism?
I tried to get out there and mingle, you know. I mean, I was partying like a rock star. I was always going, and I would always hit the high. I would just ride. I would hit the highway, and then sometimes I find myself in Houston, Port Arthur, Beaumont. I would just be all over the place.
So would you consider you were just doing anything
Yeah.
to keep your mind off of your present situation?
Oh yeah. I wouldn't, you know, doing drugs or anything like that. But I mean, I did a little drinking, and I had a few girls, you know, trying to cope. But when you wake up the next morning, that pain
Pain is there.
is still there. You know, it's like this ain't working.
So even with any of the partying and you said the drinking a little bit and the girls, did anything feel like it was helping your current situation? Did anything at all? Or it was just a band-aid?
Yeah, that was just a bad day because I was trying to get back to what I thought was my normal, and I just couldn't get
Wow.
there. Nobody was fulfilling that. Like, nobody was fulfilling that because you stuck in that comparison mode. You know, I'm talking about stuck there. Because that's all you knew. That was my first marriage. So I was stuck there, couldn't move. Nothing was doing it. Nothing was doing it.
So after that point, what you consider was like a wake-up call, like, okay, you know what? I have to grab myself by my bootstraps, pick myself up, shave my face again, go back to work, get back out there and try to, because the thing about it is, like you stated earlier, when somebody go through trauma of that sort, you tend to start dissecting yourself. You know, now you start looking at what you consider your insecurities. Now you start asking yourself what I could have did better, or what I could have did to try to make this last and make this work. Or so what you think was the point you said, okay, you know what, Marcus Randall, I have to get up and do right by myself. You know how James Brown said, do right by yourself? What was that point in your life to where you said, you know what, I have to do right by Marcus Randall?
I wouldn't say it was a specific date, time, or anything like that. It was, I know you ever heard of the story of Humpty Dumpty? When he fell and they put him back together again. So that's what divorce did to me. It's like it cracked me, and pieces of me flew everywhere. The good pieces of me. So I started just picking up the pieces and putting the pieces back together. Like I remember one time we was riding down Union Street, and I ended up writing a song about that. I mean, I told the church that one time, and I'm saying this again, but the love found its way. And I wrote that song because me and my mom was headed down Union Street. I forgot where we was going, and I was like, the kids, I'm different. The kids ain't gonna want to see me. The kids ain't gonna want to do this. Kids ain't gonna do that. And mom just told me, she's like, love gonna find its way. Y'all gonna be all right. So I started putting all that stuff back, grabbing little things like that. Hey man, you know, and started putting myself back together again. And next thing you know, I was like the healing process. You know, I started out, I wasn't a failure. You know, I started out, I was secure. I wasn't insecure. You know? So when those things did that, I started, hey, you know, I am this, I am that. It was like when I was growing up at the time, I used to be like a little wimp in school. In elementary school, I was just I would cry in school, in elementary school, but when I got to high school, some guys would try to bully me, and I was like, shoot. Got home one day, and I ended up looking in the mirror.
Bigger than I think.
I said, hold up. You know, next school, you try to bully me now. Oh, now I started to see, I noticed who I was. Hold up, I'm too big for this. So that, I had to get into that.
Lose some confidence.
Yeah, and come back and say, hey man, I'm bigger than this. And I started picking myself up again and started dressing like I used to dress, you know, taking more pride in myself. It wasn't a snap of fingers. It was a process.
So further along, we're moving past the pain. So further along, we're moving past the pain, right? Now we're getting to the healing. After you put yourself back together again, was it a moment in time you said, okay, you know what? I'm ready to love again? Because that's the hard part, is after I've been broken, now I've put myself back together. Now I have to trust someone else to not break me again. Right? So when was that moment you said, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot again?
Yeah. It was, I never gave up on marriage. I never gave
Well,
up.
you did say your whole family is married. Right?
Yeah. But I was around it the whole time, so I knew it worked. Right. So I never gave up on marriage. I never gave up on the union. I gave up on a certain person.
Gotcha.
So I knew some cues to look for, and when I started seeing that, like in my current wife, I was like, okay.
Okay, so fast forward. You know, now you haven't given up on marriage. So now you're saying, okay, you know what? I want to try this again. What was some things that you looked for in a woman that ultimately made you pick your current wife? Was it some things, because everybody have, just like we have red flags, we have go-tos. So, you know, some men say, you know what, I want a woman like my mama. Some men say, you know, I want a woman that's, you know, going to get out there and grind just like me. Some men say, I want a woman just to give me peace, right? So what were some things you were looking for in a woman at that point? Because now you're here now. I went through my pain, you know, I hurt, now I'm healed. So what turned your life around to the point to where you said, okay, you know what, this is what I'm looking for in a woman? Was it specifics, or you just was like, okay, God, when you send me somebody, then that's the route I'm gonna take?
Yeah. So it was some specifics, and it was also what you just said. The last thing you just said about God.
So you know, I have to put you on the spot, right?
Yeah.
What was some of the specifics?
So she had to have some level of independence.
Right.
Because I was, I guess, shell shocked on my first marriage. Because my first marriage, my wife, never worked ever. I took care of the whole family, so I felt like that was a betrayal. Because I gave my whole self, and you betrayed me. So I wanted to see some type of independence and some type of self-control, you know, and just knowing how to handle yourself in front of people, and knowing how to handle yourself at home also. So when we got on that deeper into our relationship, I'm watching the whole time, because she had been through a divorce. So she knew what she was looking for, you know. And God speaks, and he shows you, hey, look, this is what I want you to do. But you have to know how to listen to him. And we just linked.
So y'all found each other, y'all started dating.
Mm-hmm.
What point did you say, okay, you know what? I want this young lady to marry me. When was that point?
I would say like
Because to be honest, marriage, men don't just go around looking to marry people, right? We all, I mean, y'all know, men do not look to just go around marrying people. So when was that time in your life you just said, you know what, this is the person for me?
Again, it was a trust issue, not in her.
Or just in from past?
No, it was a trust in God, and he spoke, he speaks, the Holy Spirit speaks, and told me, he told me, hey, this is her, and it's not that she was doing everything right, but he just told me, hey, this is her, this is who I want you to be with, you found your good thing.
And how long have y'all been married now?
It'll be 11 years in June the 26th.
Congratulations to whoever you are. You've been married 11 years. Listen, we be right back. I have one more commercial and I'll see y'all soon. Welcome back. I missed you. I'm sure he did too. Listen, we're still on the segment, healing after divorce, healing after broken relationships with Marcus Randall. Give him a hand. We back. Just like that. So, before we left, we were pretty much talking about things that you accomplished as far as in your current marriage, right? So, what are some boundaries, wisdom, maturity do you now carry to this marriage that you may think that was missing in your last marriage?
So the boundaries, I've learned how to stay silent on some things. And I've learned not to let my significant other control me. And when I say control me, control the way I think, and tell me different things to try to persuade me to try to think a certain way. Like I said in the first portion of it, I'm in a position now. I know who I am, and I know the order of things now. So I said boundaries like that. That's so far you can come in here now. And that's a wisdom I'm applying that. Wisdom is not applied, but applied knowledge. So I'm applying that now. That's my wisdom now. Not get too far outside of the box. If that makes sense. And when I say get too far outside of the box, not to be so persuaded by, because I'm the leader. I had to find out, I had to learn that, hey, look, you're the leader of the house. I had to understand that I'm the prize. You know, we love to quote that scripture, man, find a wife, find a good thing. And society twists things around to try to make it like, hey, the woman is the prize. The woman's not the prize. The man is the prize. All God's saying is you find your help. You found your helper right now. So when you found your helper, now your helper can help you do my will. So that's the wisdom I think I have now. So I think I put too much trust in. I was too vulnerable.
Gotcha.
In my first marriage. Now it may seem like chauvinistic, but it's order, and it's just the way things go. And I've learned now when you follow that order, nothing can stop you, man. Nothing can stop you. You know both of them if you follow that order. So I learned that.
So how big would you say the communication, right? Most relationships, most marriages, they don't work, and it's simply because of no communication. So do you feel like your last marriage helped you in certain areas as far as communicating and knowing what to look for in certain situations, knowing what to respond to, knowing what to let things when to let things go, knowing what to correct things? Do you think your communication skills have greatened? You feel like that they are stronger now, or you feel like you're just in a different place in your life?
Yeah, I think the communication is better. You can always have friction when it comes to and it's just the contemporary society that we live in now just throws us all out of whack and has us thinking things that we ought not think. I preach this all the time, and you ought to be a companion, not a competitor.
Right.
So right now you have a lot of competitors in the house. You have the woman competing with the man, and the man competing with the woman, and that's
No
what
one's gonna
causes
win.
friction.
No one's gonna win.
Yeah, nobody's gonna win because you're out of order. You know, when you fall into that order, you understand you can prosper like that. But that's a maturity that you have to. I mean, you have to accept it, and you have to be humble enough to accept that.
Wow. So, in the last couple of years, suicide in men have went up, right? And stats contribute a lot of that to failed marriages, right? A lot of men, either they go and kill their spouse and then they kill themselves. Like, what do you feel like grounded you from? Because I heard you say you were in a real dark place, really, really dark place. What grounded you to that point to where you say, you know what, I'm not going to take my life? What things did you lean on? Did you have people that you leaned on? Because a lot of people, they get in certain situations when it comes down to trauma, and they ball it up inside. But the problem in balling it up inside is anything you ball up, you keep balling it expands. So did you have specific people you leaned on, or what measures did you take to make sure that you didn't get that far?
So my kids played a big role in that because I felt like they were innocent in this whole thing, and just thinking about them kept me. I wouldn't say I was going insane, but kept me level-headed. There's some point in time when I thought about, hey, look, I'm about to go do something, you know. But then you think about your kids, and you think about what that would
The pain you would cause.
yes, what they would go through. I'm like, no, we can't do that. So that was a major. My kids played a major role in my level-headedness. Now I wouldn't say sanity. I never thought about like going insane and anything like that. But they kept me level just thinking about them. Yeah.
Wow. So through all the whole process, right? What would you tell a man right now that's dealing with, silently dealing with it? Because most men, it's not going to publicly, throw out all that information. But what would you say to a man that's silently dealing with a divorce right now, or a bad breakup, or even just dealing with that trauma of losing a significant other? What would you say to them?
I would say don't bother yourself up. Don't put yourself in the corner. And don't think about the failure part of it. You're not a failure. You especially if you did what you were supposed to do. Now if you're out there just being crazy, running around and doing things, you're not supposed to do, being married, that's different. But if you did what you're supposed to do, and because I'm speaking from where I came from. I'm not saying I was a saint, but I think I did what I was supposed to do as a husband. And if you're doing what you're supposed to do as a husband, you find yourself in that position right now. I would say don't sit in that house too long. Don't be alone too long, because loneliness it can be good sometimes when you're in a certain mind set.
Can't stay too long.
Yeah, but if you're in that mindset where it's fresh and you're in the divorce and you find yourself getting depressed, because depression is real. You find yourself getting depressed, get out of that house. Get out of the house and find something that captures your attention. You know, even if it's just temporary. Find something that captures your attention. Just get out of that. Don't think about that thing, because the devil is he plays with your mind so much, and he'll tell you all kind of things. You know, he'll tell you things that you will start to believe. You will start to believe. And just going back again, I'm going back. Sometimes I would actually think I was a failure, and that is a real man's enemy right there. Like failure. It's just, and I don't know how it affects women, but I know when you feel like you fail,
Worthless.
it tears you up. You know. But I would say go out and connect with somebody, because I mean we're built for connection. Man. When we come in this world, we want to connect. You know, we want to connect to our mom, we want to connect to our dad. We always want to find a connection, because that connection is a co-regulation. You know, it keeps you regulated. You know, if you have too much pressure on a certain gauge, you can regulate that pressure. So that's what connection does. Go connect with somebody. It doesn't have to be a woman. It can be with a brother. It can be with your sister. It can be with your mom, your dad. Go connect with that human and that person, and you get that human contact, so you can feel normal again. You know, don't.
Man, listen, this was beautiful. I really appreciate you coming through, and that's the thing about Unspoken Truths. You have a lot of people are going around dealing with things, and no one wants to tell them how I got past it. And I always say, listen, I don't want to tell you, you know, that I'm successful. I want to tell you the ups and downs I went through to get there, because everybody goes through things, right? But if you have somebody, like you said with the analogy about the table, you have somebody giving you the guidelines, giving you the directions, it's so much easier to get through something when somebody is telling you and being transparent. Man, I really appreciate you for coming on Unspoken Truths. So what I did was, I went out and got you a gift, man.
Huh?
Let you know I appreciate you for coming through. I really appreciate you for coming through.
Thank you.
First episode of Unspoken Truth. And listen, what I want you to do right now, because somebody is going to be watching this that's dealing with it. So what I want you to do is look at that camera and talk to your younger self.
So what I would tell my younger self, I would say, hey man, yeah, you tried it. It didn't work out. But you're gonna be okay. Yeah, you know, you down right now, you sitting in that house, man, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house by yourself, silent, seems like it's loud. You just can't seem like to get jump started again, man. So get up though, man. Just get up. Move around. Walk around. Go for a walk. Open a book. Open the Bible. Start reading more. Start learning about yourself. Don't just sit there and mope and moan about what you lost. Because there's so much out there to gain. You know, man, the Bible says that God is able to do exceeding and abundantly more than what we can ever ask for. Sometimes we think we want something. We thought we wanted it. But he said, I got something out there bigger for you. So get up, man, get out that house. Don't take a ride. Pick up your bass. Get that mind going again. You never stop to slow down. You never stop. You're gonna be all right, man.